So it's pretty interesting you asked that, actually. So I joined in 2019. COVID had shut down everything in 2020 was it March, I think?
I think so,
Yeah, I think it was March. So I joined and I was traveling to Dallas for GameStop was the first.
No way. Oh my God. I want to hear
Yeah.
So for that, curious, GameStop was going crazy during COVID. It's actually, time of filming right now, it's May 29th, right? Last 2024. It kind of exploded again like last week.
Yeah.
So tell us what you got.
Oh man, so this was before like the stock craze during COVID.
Okay.
And we were there and just speaking, I'm not speaking for anyone else but myself.
Yeah.
But the writing was on the wall that GameStop was on the way out because, you had like the game developers and the platforms like PlayStation, Xbox. I'm not a gamer, but they started publishing directly, through the online
Store.
store. So you didn't have to go to GameStop to buy anything. And you didn't have to go through them even online to buy anything. You can just buy it directly from home on your device. So that took a big bite out of GameStop's revenue. And it also, I think, scared the executives and board members quite a bit. So they hired us to kind of get incremental revenue online, designing like ways to pull in the customer and increase like cross-selling and upselling through their e-commerce store.
Can I ask you a question about that? Why do companies go through consultants to kind of strategize and create new forms of revenue rather than going to their internal teams? Like, what's the benefit?
That's a really good question. And I'm not going to give like a super politically correct answer here. I'll be transparent. I mean, I'm not a consultant anymore. But essentially, a lot of times they do that because they want an outside perspective. And they have relationships with managing directors and partners at firms, and they trust them to put a good team together. That is definitely part of the reason they bring people on. Another reason is also internally, if an executive, spearheads a project and it goes horribly for some reason, they're to blame at the end of the day. But if they hire BCG or Accenture, BCG and Accenture, we come in and make a recommendation. It doesn't go well. The executive at the end of the day could be like, well, this is what BCG said. It wasn't what I said. Yeah.
Got it. That is so fascinating.
Yeah, there's a lot of internal politics at play, which, I was exposed to were pretty interesting at times.
Yeah, that's so fascinating because I've always wondered that, right? Because there's so many smart people internally and you vet these people more so than even vet like external consulting firms. And then I didn't know that, I guess up there, it's like, hey, in case this fails, I have like kind of like a little scapegoat per se. Yeah.
Yeah. And the animosity among like staff is like palpable. Like I understood it at the time because like, well, who are these people coming in telling us what to do? We see it every day. Why is their like point of view and like perspective being elevated compared to ours?
Yeah.
And like, that was an interesting dynamic when you had to work with like lower level employees and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Talk about that. Cause I'm assuming when you're working with a client, yes, you're working with some managers, but you're probably also working with a lot of individual contributors and kind of learn what they're doing. What was that like?
So, a lot of times you have like a point person, like a VP or an executive, but as you mentioned, you'd work with individual contributors who were like, an expert or who managed a certain process. And naturally, a lot of times they would be apprehensive to be like fully transparent or like be upright and be like super responsive when you had requests, like naturally, because like an outsider is like, coming in and they're going to make these recommendations. But what I found is if you show that you respect their role and you understand that they have insights that you're not going to have and you're never going to have on that project because they're there, they're working, they've been there.